Good evening, everyone. This is the August 9th meeting of the Grosse Ile Township Public Services Commission. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call the roll. Costick. Kennedy.
Here.
Schmidtke.
Present.
Stanko. Here. John Reilly's excused tonight. Zawadi.
Here.
And Nadeau.
Here.
So we do have a quorum. I'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Is there support? Support. Been moved, supported, the agenda be approved. I will make one announcement. Item number 10. Ron Moran, who's the chairman of the Downtown Development Authority, he asked me if he could come. They have a new master plan and explain the master plan to us. Unfortunately, had a conflicting meeting with tonight's date, and so he's not going to be here. With that deletion, all in favor of approving the agenda indicate by saying aye.
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 Next, we have minutes of two meetings to approve. First, our July 12th regular meeting, and second, our July 20th special meeting. I guess protocol would say we should do them individually, so I'll make a motion to approve the July 12th meeting minutes.
I will second that.
Oh, you've got it.
There's a typo in number 5. It says,
On page 5?
item number 5, it says, support from inaudible. Is that meant to say that way, or?
Yeah, I think it was just, if it wasn't, you couldn't identify who
Oh,
it
okay,
came
just
from.
leave it, okay.
I saw that.
Okay. And then motion by to support by, just motion to support, just remove by, just
Okay.
typos.
Yep,
5 as well.
thank you.
6.
Any other comments? Are there any other comments? Hearing none, motion's been made. Who supported it?
Mickey?
And, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
July 12th minutes are approved. Next, the July 20th special meeting. Minutes was a special meeting that we held, sort of a public hearing, public information meeting on our wastewater treatment plant proposal, July 20th. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Support.
Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
You weren't here.
No.
Thank you. Please note that Les abstained. Next, we have approval of the bills. Number 6. And got a lot of pages of minutes. They really start on page 13 of your packet. I looked them over. Have any questions? So I'll make a motion to approve the invoices.
Support?
One comment?
Yep.
Just, we spent $6,000 on the elevator drive unit. Is that the last of expenditures for the elevator, Ryan?
Yes, it is.
Good to know.
That was a negotiated, that was a bill that was negotiated down to that amount as well, so.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? So I made the motion and Stanko supported.
Okay.
Did you get that? So then the question remains. If there are no other questions, we'll approve the vouchers for the month of July. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Vouchers are approved. We have a statement of revenues and expenditures for the 4th month of our fiscal year. I looked them over. Everything seems to be in line, both expenditures, revenues and expenditures, in terms of the percentage. Actually, they're a little below 30%, generally speaking. Are there any comments from anybody? Hearing none, we'll just receive and file the expenditure report. Next on the agenda, we have the treasurer's report. I'll make the motion to approve the treasurer's report as submitted.
I will second it.
Schmidtke seconded it. Dave, you have any comments on the treasurer's report?
Nope.
Just on the second page of the treasurer's report, I just want to call to your attention, and I made a note of it because I've been concerned about the money in the road fund. So the $100,000 that shows, that is the amount that's not budgeted for specific purpose yet out of the 2021 tax collection. Tax collection's about $225,000. And then we have specific budget items, and then that's the construction amount. And it's actually after we make a couple of other little repairs. We talked last week about doing the crack sealing for about $80,000, and that'll about spend that 100, because we had a couple of concrete slabs to replace and so forth. So just wanted you to note that. So we have $137,000 left in that, but we'll spend a good portion of it in the fiscal year. With that, call the question on the treasurer's report. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Treasurer's report is approved. Next, we have we have public comment, and unfortunately, for this meeting, there's nobody in the audience. I just want to make a couple of comments. And I watched the meeting last night, Dave, and I'll give you a chance to make some comments as well. I want to thank you for thanking people, but first, our wastewater treatment plant proposal. And this document was mailed out to everybody, all the residents, all the voters, property owners in our community. And thanks, number one, to all the residents, the people who voted in favor of the $10 million required improvements at the wastewater treatment plant. So I want to thank all the voters. I also want to thank several people. I want to thank our staff at the wastewater plant, Ryan Walsh, and all the people that worked on the election as well. But I have and Dave, I'll let you comment afterwards, but one of the interesting things in this, and I heard a number of comments about our brochure, was the chart. And the chart that specifically shows what the current millage being levied for our sewer system is, which is about 4.5 mils. And a group of elected officials and administration going back 5 or 6 years with pressure from the Michigan Department of Environment, it was called MDEQ at the time. It's now called EGLE. Anyway, they had a mandate for us to expand our wastewater plant. Knowing that this millage was going to start to fall off, several elected officials, including people on this commission, and Les, I think you'll remember it, Phil, you probably will too, we started discussing, boy, this is going to be a dramatic increase in our expenses for our sewer system. So several people had the idea, let's start to meet. We hired a special engineer who came and worked with us, special legal counsel, and try to negotiate with the state of Michigan to put off this project, delay the project for 5 years so that we could retire debt from the existing sewer debt and not have a net increase in taxes for people. And that was a huge thing. And we've explained it here many a time. So I want to thank a few people. First of all, some of the elected officials that are still around that were instrumental in this. One of them was Jim Budney, our current supervisor. Jim sat on this commission back then, and Jim was liaison, and I want to thank Jim for his efforts in getting this delayed so that to the taxpayers, the advantage to all of us who pay taxes, we hope that there won't be a net increase, and the chart displays that. Also at the time was Brian Loftus was supervisor. He took a major role in that, and I want to thank Brian Loftus for that as well. But one person was real special in that effort who inspired the movement to get this done, had been chairman of this DPS commission for a number of years, then got elected treasurer of the township, was Ted Van Oz. And Ted was the guy that really took the lead in the beginning of that process of delaying the MDOT requirements. And so Ted, if you're watching, I want to thank you for your efforts. It was instrumental. He was the leader that got this moving And it was really a good thing that was accomplished. And so voters turned out, and thank you all again. So I just wanted to make those comments. Do you have anything to say, Dave?
No, other than, the vote was 70% in favor of the millage, which was, of the 3 millages that we had on the ballot, that was the highest approval rate of the 3 millages. So, I don't know whether that was a surprise, but I also got comments on the chart that's in the flyer that we mailed out that shows, that the sewer-related millages, by the time this kicks in, it'll be going down. So, yes, it is. So,
This mailer, really, the chart was our township manager's idea, Derek. Thank you, Derek. And our intern at the township this summer, Katie Keim, both Derek and Katie worked that up, and I had a lot of positive comments about it. Really explained it, just visually. So
And the education effort was shared among a lot of individuals, elected officials, volunteers, commission and committee members. So thanks for everybody in their efforts to try to make sure that the voters were comfortable with knowing what they were voting for. I think that was very important to make sure that the residents were aware, and I think they felt like they were comfortable with what they were voting on, and the 70% indicates that. So thank you for everybody that helped deliver that message.
thanks to everybody. The effort was well received, and move forward. All right. We have some action items. Well, before that, we have item number 11, the guy that runs our wastewater plant, Ryan Walsh. Ryan's here to give us an update on what's going on at the plant in the last month. Ryan?
Hello, everyone. It's been low flows at the plant. As you all know, we haven't had a whole lot of rain lately, so that's a good thing. But it's also negative because then the system gets septic out there, so, but all in all, it's good. This Thursday, we have a mandatory pre-bid meeting at 10 a.m. for primary number 1 tank, and that's a rehab of that tank, and it's mandatory if you want the work. So, and that's basically it's an open house. So, and then the bids are due then 1 week after, and that. So we hope we have a lot of contractors who show up. I'll wait and see. And that. We also have an action item which is in the budget. We want to purchase 2 VFD drives for 2 EQ basin pumps, and then an extra spare VFD drive for our raw sewage pumps. It's a large amount, so we're gonna need our engineers involved in that, and that'll also be, it's a bid job. And that.
But piggyback on that, the way the action item A is written tonight, it was the approval, or I'm sorry, the recommendation to the board to go ahead and approve it with UIS SCADA. UIS SCADA is not the only provider of Allen Bradley brand VFDs in the area. So based upon the dollar figure that we're looking at, the motion tonight is going to be amended or modified to basically authorize Raines to go to bid on that, not to go ahead and recommend the approval to the board. So that's going to be the change this evening, and it's that's the one that Ryan's referencing. So
We'll talk about that briefly in a minute. Okay.
Nothing else on my end.
Hey, Ryan, I do have a question.
Yep.
The primary clarifier is in the lower level under the plant.
Yes,
And
that's
we
correct.
did 2 of them last year, correct?
Exactly. Yep.
So we planned on doing this third one. That's all we have, are the 3.
That's all we have left. Yep.
Planned on doing this one. We bought the equipment last year.
this
And-
year.
Earlier this year.
Yes,
You
earlier.
bought the equipment, is it delivered?
What's the delivery date on that? Soon, isn't it?
Few weeks, probably next month, early next month, it'll
Okay, so
deliver.
in terms of this pre-bid meeting you're going to have Thursday, the contractor did the work last year. Has he picked up a packet to do it again? Do you know?
I don't know.
Hopefully, we'll get some contractors. Everybody's short on.
Hopefully Weiss has, I would imagine they,
Rains usually handles who picks them up. They go directly to our engineers to pick them up. So we don't normally, unless we ask them who has picked them up, we won't be aware until Thursday when the mandatory pre-bid takes place,
Yep.
which all potential contractors would be required to attend. So if you check in with us on Thursday, we should know by the afternoon.
All right. So one thing, I think that, how many of us went and saw the empty clarifier? I did. Did you, Lara? And did you, Dave? When they had emptied it? Okay, so when you're down there and you look at it when it's full of water, and this is a tank, how deep is it? 10, 15 feet?
10 feet,
10 feet,
Yeah.
and length is 50 feet or
Yep.
more?
something like that, yeah.
Maybe considerably more.
Yep.
Anyway, it's an enormous tank of water, and when it's drained down and emptied, so they can install the new equipment, it's amazing to see it. So when it gets to that point, would you let the manager know, and we can let everybody know, those that are available can go, and we can make an attempt to go over and take a look at it, because it is interesting to see when it's empty, right?
And we're gonna leave it empty. Because we have such low flows, we can operate with just 2 of 3 tanks, so we plan on just leaving that one empty, so that would work. Yeah, we're just gonna
Okay.
leave it empty and it's hosed out, so yeah.
Thank you. A lot of equipment, mechanized equipment in the bottom of that, so it's interesting to see, so. Anything else?
Well, I got one thing pertaining to the sewer plant. And I've had a couple of calls at my house about that pretty blue sign that's out front. That, I think somebody kind of screwed up on that sign. It says Township grows eel.
That's already being remedied, so.
Yeah, we noticed that, but
Yeah, the
They either
amended,
left out the word of,
yeah.
or they gotta reverse them.
Yes, so that's already been brought up to the vendor and they're remedying that, so, that should be done any day now.
Well, thank you, Derek.
Well, since you mentioned the sign, up on the structure itself, on the face of the structure, there's a sign that's very hard to see. It's bluish in color, and it's about 3 feet by 4 feet. Ryan, why don't you explain what's happening there? And what does it say? It says Suez on it, right?
well, it will be Veolia now. Veolia actually ordered a new sign for that, and it's maybe next month it'll be up.
Okay, so we are going to
But it'll-
replace that sign, which
Yeah.
isn't attractive at all.
It'll have the logo, of
I don't think any of you guys were around when Charles Youngblood came down here and put a sign on that treatment plant. You could have read it in Woodhaven.
He was the drain
He was a
commissioner?
I'll
drain
tell you what,
commissioner.
Merle Solomon was a supervisor then, and it was like setting a rocket off.
He
They
was
made him take it off the plant. It was huge.
Was he the drain commissioner?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't blame everybody. One thing that's interesting is the new green sign that went up, even though it's got to be replaced, you can see it coming over the bridge. And I really was excited when I saw that. I mean, I don't know what, now that's stupid. But I said, man, there's a sign up there. And, well, anyway, so the sign's the right thing to do because I've asked people, you know where this wastewater plant is? No, I never saw it. Where do you live? West River Road. You know that building by the canal? I've had that happen, so good thing for a sign.
You know, Bill, all the years that I was in the DPW and lived on this island, a lot of people never knew what that was. What kind of industry is that? And I said,
That's what I'm saying. Okay, thanks, Ryan, if there's nothing else.
nothing else.
Okay,
Thank you.
I gotta stop talking so much, I don't want to prolong the meeting. Derek, we got some action items. Why don't you take the first one, the VFW?
First one refers to what Ryan was talking about earlier. There are 4 variable speed drives that drive pumps over at the equalization basin. We had a failure on 2 of them last year, and those were both replaced under an emergency authorization. So there actually are 2 new drives there, and then 2 older drives. The ones replaced last year were in the basically an emergency. We wouldn't have been able to fill up the equalization basin if we didn't replace those. So those were, we went ahead and took care of those. What we would like to do, and has been built into our budget for this year, is replace the 2 remaining drives. UIS SCADA is not a sole source provider. There are other vendors in the area that carry the type of VFD. So this would be to direct the engineers to go ahead and prepare bid specifications to purchase the 2 and install, as well as the 3rd spare that Ryan had mentioned earlier that has value in keeping in stock in case there is a failure of one of the 4. So basically tonight is just the authorization to go ahead and move them forward to bid these, and then obviously once those bids are received, come back to you for a recommendation to the board to go ahead and approve the purchase and installation of these 2 new variable speed drives.
Okay,
Variable
so,
frequency drives, I'm sorry.
Doesn't change the brand, the
No.
Allen Bradley.
Nope, because the benefit to going with the Allen Bradley brand is basically they'll fit in the existing cabinets that we have there. We won't have to do anything with any new cabinets, which would be additional cost. So not changing the brand, just the supplier, the vendor that would be providing them and installing them.
I'll make the motion to go out for bids for the variable frequency drive pumps, including an additional one for replacement at the wastewater plant, per the description that's contained in our packet tonight. Is there support? This is to go out for bids. Dave?
Support.
Boom supported that we have the township manager and Ryan Welch go out for bids. Discussion?
So there's 3 total or 2 total?
2 that would be installed and 1 that'd be on the shelf.
Okay. That's the 36 and then the 7.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
36.1 plus the 7190, but that is that
Right, that's
that is
gonna
a
change.
price
Yep.
that was provided, and
Yep.
yeah,
That price is subject to change, though.
correct.
Right.
All right, so, good question. Any other questions? If not, I'll call the motion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. You can go out for bids.
Second item on the agenda this evening is action item B. This is a request to recommend the purchase of a HydroVerge portable cordless hydrant and gate valve exerciser. This is something that the DPW staff has asked me to pursue on their behalf. In essence, it's a cordless valve and hydrant turner, so they don't have to manually turn valves, which at the end of the day is more efficient and also reduces the risk of an on-the-job injury related to that type of activity, which is very common actually, and we had something associated with that not more than a year ago. So I think it has value. We will have to move a little bit of money around in the budget to be able to make sure we have it available to fund this, but we don't have to do some required testing this year, that we had set some money aside, so there is money in the budget so long as we do a budget adjustment. So, and then we can handle that within the finance department. So this would be a recommendation to the board to go ahead and authorize this. There are really 3 vendors. We're not required to have a formal bid if it's not over 5,000. So in this case here, Ferguson, USA Blue Book, and Pollard Water are the 3 vendors, and you can see they're all very similar in price because this is a specific model, a specific vendor, a specific product, and these are just, basically catalog providers or catalog vendors that we're purchasing it through, as the information that's included here basically indicates. And Ferguson is the lowest price of the 3 that are available to have this purchase through. So,
Purchase price is $4,930.
correct.
Derek, how big of a valve can this thing turn?
That's a good question, and I wish John was here to be able to answer that, but he indicated to me that it would serve all the needs that they had, so.
Well,
And he said that Trenton brought one over for a valve on the 16-inch a month or two ago, and it turned that. So, I mean, it's a pretty large piece.
you know, I'm kind of scratching my head here because we have a hydraulic valve turner. The brand name of it is Wax.
Yeah, and does it require a
It has a
standalone?
it has a hydraulic power pack,
Right,
and it's portable.
yeah.
But you got to have the hydraulic power pack, which you put in the truck.
Well, and this one here is more of just it's a Milwaukee battery pack, like a lithium powered battery pack that you have for a cordless or portable drill. That's what this is. I mean, it's very, very small. It's only this large. It doesn't require all of the additional hydraulic apparatuses to be able to operate it, so it's much more portable than what we have and a lot more user friendly. You'll see a lot of the departments are going to these just because of that convenience factor of these, and lends itself to being used more often than the other apparatuses that
Now, that
we
was
have.
the problem because when we did need it to turn big valves,
Right.
The power pack wasn't running enough, and that's just forgetting about it and letting it sit there.
Right, and this one will fit in the back of the truck. It's about this big. The power pack's only that large. So it's very portable and much easier to use than that traditional.
I'll have to get with John. I'd love to see this thing because I fought like crazy to get that hydraulic one.
Yep.
Good question, Les. So, with the explanation, would you like to make the motion, Les?
I'll make a motion if they want to buy this thing, this hydraulic valve turner. I make a motion they purchase it.
Ferguson at the price of $4,930.
Support.
And supported by Phil Kennedy. Is there any further discussion?
Anything to make life easier on the job, I was always looking at.
I think this is a lot more efficient.
It saves on time. We theoretically we should be exercising valves on a regular basis. I don't think any department does it as much as we probably should. When it comes to winterization or flushing, this helps with the time associated with it. So there's a lot of pluses to this, and as technology moves along, it makes our job a little bit easier and a little bit more efficient. And this is a good example of that.
If that thing turned a 16-inch valve, then it's worth it.
We surplus out the other one?
Yeah, but we could. I'm not sure what kind of value it has. That's
Anything.
yeah. That's the old tech, which is being replaced by this. But most definitely, we can look at that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a support. All in favor of purchasing from Ferguson, the Hydro Verge portable valve hydrant battery-operated tool, which turns valves on both fire hydrants and water valves. So, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Before we leave that item, Derek, and I know I've talked to Derek about this before, this and the prior item, we have 14 pages of information on this item. And after 3 pages, I was satisfied that I was understanding this is a lot of paper. And I don't even think the township board, you, Dave, if you looked at it, there's page after page of some specs. In both these items, it's just too much paper. If you could limit it in the future.
Sure.
I know you like to give everybody all the information, but some of this, do you all agree with me?
Yes.
Well, the board will only get the one that was approved, so.
Doubles of everything.
They were all the same item, so to have it presented 3
Yeah,
times.
and I think more than anything, that was just to indicate and showcase that they're similar prices across multiple vendors for the same exact product. So, but I think the chairman's point is well taken. If you guys can get by with less, then I don't have a problem shortening things up. And if you decide you don't have enough, you can always come to me and ask, for additional information, so.
And
Well, this-
I wasn't sure if all the parts was part of the 4950.
Yes, and so if you look at the.
The 90 and the 500.
So the sockets and the bar is
Uh-huh.
included on all of those, but the first bid, the low bid, they included it all in their base price. The other ones are all piecemeal together.
Okay,
So
that's what I wasn't sure.
Well, you have to use your judgment, but it's just,
Sure.
we don't need all that backup,
Bottom line number.
since we're not operating it. But I thank you for it. I mean, it takes a yeoman's effort. So with that, John Keim is not here. Do you have anything to report for John?
I do not. No, not this evening.
And, I'm sorry, we have the water loss report and the DPS project.
I've shortened up the water loss report to only go back to May of 2019. I think we were going back all the way into 2018 at your last report. So I've shortened that period of time up a little bit to make this a little bit shorter. We're at 11.76% currently, and we've been fluctuating right around there for quite some time across the period of time we've looked at.
Les, any comments?
Oh, it's pretty good. We're a lot better than what it used to be.
With regards to the project list, there's not a ton of change between last month and this month. The project over on West River Road is continuing to be a little bit of a problem getting it off the ground. At this point, the holdup is the signage. So Wayne County won't let us start without unique signs indicating the exact detour route for when that project takes place. So I think if you've driven along West River Road and you've seen the materials are there, that was the holdup a couple of months ago. Materials is no longer the holdup. Now the holdup is the signage. So hopefully that'll be resolved here very shortly. Custom signage had to be made according to Wayne County regulations that indicate what roads the detour route is designed for. So that's the only holdup over there. The contractor continues to work on phase 5 or section 5 of the televising and cleaning, so that is going well. We did run into a little bit of an issue down at the south end of the island with a piece of seawall that had penetrated our sanitary main, so that'll have to be resolved. And Rains is working on designing that currently, but that's exactly the type of thing that we hope to find, and the part of the purpose of doing this televising and cleaning was to find issues like that before they cause problems. So it's doing what we had intended it to do. It's cleaning the mains where they need to be cleaned and finding things that need to be resolved. So that's working out well. As far as the wastewater treatment plant, as I think we talked at the last meeting, we did have an inspection. Eagle did an inspection of the wastewater treatment plant. They had found a number of items that we needed to resolve, so we have responded to their violation notice, and we're working on any things that need to be resolved relative to that violation notice. Ryan had talked about the primary clarifier and how that was currently out for bid for the install of the equipment, and the equipment should be here in a couple of weeks. And then Rains is currently working on the the primary and the secondary sludge pumps, the designs of those, and specifications to go ahead and get those out to bid. They're just dealing with some design issues associated with flow characteristics to try to avoid a Part 41 permit, which would delay the project. So they're just working with the vendor as it relates to some reducers on the pumps to make sure that flow characteristics are similar so we can avoid that permit requirement. As we had talked about earlier, special thanks to the voters, because you'll see on this project sheet a lot of stuff that we hope to accomplish underneath the $10 million bond that will be going out for. A contract would be awarded in December, assuming we have competitive bids, and then they would start construction in February of 2023. So now that this has been passed, we'll move very aggressively to make sure that we're meeting the deadlines of completion in October of 2025. I have a meeting coming up, I believe, on Thursday with bond counsel to review the issuance of bonds. The board will end up having a action item at their next meeting in September, meeting the requirement to advertise our intent to bond. So you'll see a lot of activity relative to the ACO work and other capital improvement work over the wastewater treatment plant that we've been talking about for a long time. So once again, thanks to the residents, we're going to be able to hit these deadlines and do it in a very, what I feel to be a very good way as far as from a financial standpoint, minimizing that impact. So couldn't be happier with the way that this is going to play out. And I think we'll all be very excited to see a lot of activity going on over there to make sure we're meeting our obligations. So I know I got a little bit off topic relative to the project report, but it's relative to the basis of design, some of the asset management stuff, and then also some of the other capital improvement work that we are planning on doing over there. Any questions on the project status report?
Questions?
Eric, I've just got one question. It's not on this report. Do you know whether John had the opportunity to go out and look at the tide flex valve yet?
I do not. I was off last week. John's off this week. I have passed along your request to the remainder of the guys in the form of a work order, so I'll check into that for you and find out. If they can look at it, great. If it's got to wait till John gets back, it might have to wait till next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Yes.
I'm just looking at the dates. You said that it would come before this commission in December.
Yes, and
Our meeting is the 13th in December, and the board meeting is the 12th.
yeah, and we were looking at that with rains. We might have to have a special meeting or a replacement meeting, or reschedule our December meeting till earlier in the month. So they're looking at bids being open November 17th. He's saying that it's probably going to take him good 2.5 weeks to vet the bids and make sure that they're complete. On a project this size, I fully expect it'll take all of that. He's targeting December 5th for a recommendation for award. So I think we would probably want to have our December meeting in the first or the early second week in December. Of course, you guys have your board meeting on the second Monday, right?
Right.
So it's going to have to probably be December 5th is what?
December 5th is a Monday.
So we probably want to target for maybe Wednesday of that
Wednesday
week.
the 7th?
Yep. So that we can have enough time to be able to get it in the board packet, but we'll have a pretty good idea, what the board will be seeing, assuming you guys recommend it. So, yeah, keep that in mind because
okay.
to make that jive.
And of course, it's good to get a plan.
Yeah.
But something like this, it may be off plan, who knows?
Yes, and you know what? We're building enough flexibility in there where if you guys don't see it till the 13th on your regular meeting and it's got to wait until January for the board to review it, we don't want to rush any of this stuff. Construction beginning in February of 2023 is pretty aggressive if you're talking about not awarding until December. That gives the contractor 2 months to put equipment together and mobilize. So, these dates are fairly flexible, but just to give you a general indication that that's what we're looking at, and also understand that we're moving very aggressively to meet these deadlines. So
You're looking, I don't know if you asked this question, you're looking at one general contractor? You don't know yet?
I don't know yet. Because there is a number of items here that we're going to be working on. So, and I don't know enough about contractor capabilities to understand whether or not the primary clarifier the final clarifier would be the same vendor as the lift pumps. It might be two totally different vendors. I don't know. That's where our engineers are going to be very valuable in determining that. And obviously HVAC is going to be something completely different. So we've got our work cut out for us. There's going to be a busy, and the engineers do too, a busy couple of months here coming up. So
Very complicated project. A lot of concrete work.
a lot of concrete work.
Pipe work, a lot of pump work.
Yep.
Specialty work.
Yep. So
So you'll work your way through it. One thing is, as far as this update on, the thought I had, I want to get back to it. this is going to be, not that we're going to have much to say about it, but when the engineers come back and you come back and Ryan comes back and everybody that's an expert and says, here's our contractor, we're going to need a little education on that.
Sure.
I mean, in terms of the contractor's experience, not that we're going to question you guys, you're going to do all that. And the engineers are going to check every line item, every element of the bid. I mean, that's why it's going to take 2.5 weeks to review every line item in that.
Yeah, they normally check
Contract.
references, make sure that they're able to bond, their insurance is in play. I mean, this is a huge project. This is $10 million worth of work over there. This is a massive undertaking, for a community our size.
Well, and again, it's not just laying pipe either. It's so complicated. There's all kinds of electrical driven pumps and so forth. Much concrete work.
There's also
Excavate.
state oversight. They want to make sure that what we're putting in achieves the capabilities of the ACO. So they've been heavily involved in the engineering aspect to make sure that it was being engineered in a way that, the design meets their requirements. So
Have to approve it, right?
yes, yep, and they actually already have.
Yeah.
I think there's some revisions that still need to take place, but the concept, the engineering for the plan improvements is pretty much already done. And that's what, OHM's been working on for the past couple of years, actually. So, we've got the engineering for the most part in place, but there's some fine tuning that we still got to do. But
Of course, we're just advisory, and I think we're supposed to ask more technical questions to the elected officials so that at least it's gone through our screening process, but we're going to rely on all you experts on this. So
well, and it's
we'll play it out, we'll figure it out.
it's a good time to have the engineers come in here and speak about
absolutely.
these things to you, and we will definitely have them come in and have those conversations with the commission and the board for that matter. I mean,
Yeah, I would recommend that if the engineers do come in and make a presentation to us, that we open up the invitation to attend to the board, the township board.
Well, or we might even have a joint meeting, I don't know, a
Yeah.
joint educational meeting or something like that, possible. Well, I know it's going to be complicated, so thank you. As you proceed, the projects list will start to incorporate some kind of
Yes.
schedule on that.
yes, definitely.
I want to back up on the drain project on West River Road, just a minute. Nothing's being hurt by it not being done right now,
Correct.
but I think there was a delay with the county permits too, wasn't there?
Delay with the county permits, there's a delay with materials, now there's a delay with signage, and, but like you said, nothing's being hurt by it. Maybe some water's not getting off the road. We're gonna be replacing those areas of the road that, that water is pooling and damaging the surface. The drain for the most part is functioning.
It's already damaged. so-
Yeah, it'll function that much better once this work is done, so, like Ryan had mentioned, flows are low, we haven't had a ton of rain, so, it's okay right now, but obviously we want to close it out, we want to get these things moving, get them done and over with, so we're anxious to get those started and completed.
Sure, and I would imagine that the cost of asphalt's gone up.
Yeah, but we do have a bid, and that bid is guaranteed, so, we
Right, so
won't see a change order on the cost of the materials.
my only goal is now, if we're going to do it this year, is to get it so the asphalt work can be done before winter.
Oh, yeah, of course, yep.
Contractors get busy.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect the project to take any more than a week and a half once they get in there and do it. And,
Oh,
hopefully.
we have plenty of time at this point.
Yep.
All right. Where do we go from here?
On to discussion items, we've, I think, talked already about the August 2nd election results. I think when this agenda was put together a week and a half ago, we weren't aware how things were going to turn out, so kind of put that in there knowing it was either going to be good news or really bad news. So happy to report it was good news, and we're looking at, moving forward on that project over the next 18 months here. So on to the roads millage. I believe so.
So, for people that are watching, we have produced another brochure on the roads millage. We have a roads millage that'll be on the November 8th ballot. And the road millage basically calls for approval, or asks for approval of 1.4 mills for 15 years. And there's going to be an article about the millage in the next edition of the Grosse Ile Grand newspaper, which came out today. It came out today, and you should get it in the mail in the next few days. Usually the township articles are in the beginning of the paper, like the second or third page, so I'd ask people to look for that. And then around the first week of September, last week of August, you're going to receive a brochure in the mail, which explains clearly, hopefully, and has another graph in it that shows the taxation situation. So people should be looking for that in early September. And let's see. We're going to have 2 public information meetings that we hope the public will come to. One is September 13th, our September meeting, which is the second Tuesday of September at 7 o'clock in this room, and one October 11th. So twice we're going to discuss that, make a presentation on our road proposal. I also wanted to ask Derek, we need to start to develop a little campaign strategy to at least get information out to people beyond the brochure and newspaper. We did a TV program with the Township Supervisor, Nadeau, and you and I. And maybe we could do something like that in this room, talk about roads, or I never heard any feedback from that, whether people saw it or not.
We just need to pick a date on when we want to put that together. I believe the script has already been formulated regarding that. So I believe Mr. Friel is going to be on vacation through next Wednesday, so probably try to put it together after that.
Sure, that'd be fine. And for example, Laura called me, and September 1st, she invited me to come to the September 1st Rotary Club meeting.
I was gonna tell you that'll be a good time to talk about this too.
Well, that's what I'm going to come talk about, right?
I was gonna talk about the wastewater treatment plan, but.
And everything.
And
We'll talk about everything.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a brief presentation to them, and I've already asked Eric to prepare 2 charts. The charts that we published on a board that I like, something that's 2 by 3 or 3 by 2 or 3 by 4 that can easily carry in and show the people. Most people want to fix the roads. The question is, how much do they want to pay? So that's always the question. So I'm all done on roads, and I don't have anything else to add.
It's worth noting it. I think the couple of meetings that we're going to have, the public sessions that we're going to have, one in September and one in October, it was our plan to invite residents from a couple of different roads to come to those meetings personally. And Chairman Costick was working on with our assessor today to put that list of addresses together to send those invites out. So residents on Bellevue and Ferry and those areas will be getting letters in the mail basically saying, hey, we're having a public hearing on this date. Feel free to come in to talk about proposed improvements to your road. So residents will be seeing those notices coming up end of this month, beginning of September, something like that. So.
Then we thought about the following meeting in October, inviting residents from East River, because certain sections that don't have a high volume of traffic, where the roads are falling apart, there's, in my opinion, little hope that in the next decade you're going to see any road improvements on those roads, and they're falling apart. So we need to at least inform people this is an option, right? That's our plan.
Yes.
Eric, there's a couple items attached at the back of our packet. You want to go over those?
Just a couple of informative items. There was an article that was in a trade publication relative to our water main project. So we're getting some recognition for the project that you guys were all a part of last summer, last summer, and the methods that were used that helped to mitigate disruption to residential traffic, traffic along Meridian, and also restoration. So that was a nice article that I wanted to share with you. Commissioner Schmidtke had mentioned at one of our previous meetings about lids for recyclable containers. So our intern looked into that, contacted the vendor that Les had passed along, and there was just, for information purposes, a proposal that was included in the packet. They have a quantity minimum of 100 units to order. I think it's just for information purposes. Think about whether or not we want to order these, but they're about $6 a piece. These are lids for your 18-gallon container. That would, hopefully help with some of the recyclables blowing around the neighborhood. But they're $6 a piece with a minimum of 100 units to be purchased. So just wanted to pass that along to you. You
Eric,
see the
I
freight's
didn't-
more expensive than the units, but
I was going to say, the
I didn't
the
get any
freight-
100.
what's that?
I
You
didn't get any
100?
100.
Maybe you got a sample or something, but that was what they had expressed to us was 100 was the
Coming
minimum.
from Orlando, I'll go down and drive them up
Right?
for that.
Yeah, fly them back for us or something, so. But, I guess think about that. If that's something you're interested in, we can pursue it, but just information, that's all.
Well, Derek, we could end up selling those things.
Well, whatever you want to do. I mean, that's open for discussion, so.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna cost us $6 a piece, and we can tell these people, we can solve your problem for $5 or $7 or $8. It's not gonna break somebody, but it sure helps clean up the environment.
Right. So no decision is being asked tonight of you, so, just think about it, and if we want to bring it up at a subsequent meeting, we can, or if anybody's going on vacation to Orlando anytime soon, we can bring it
So,
back.
Les, I have a discussion question on that. Les,
Yeah,
so you're talking about the blue containers.
yeah.
I would guess it's probably fair to say that maybe if I look around when people set out their blue containers, that most of the containers filled with recyclables have a box or something that sticks above where the lid would be. But not all.
Well,
A lot of people put loose papers and stuff at the top of it, thinking that every little sheet of paper that's rolled up is thrown in the recyclable. And I see that, and it does blow around.
the,
So those are piled high, so they wouldn't be able to cover them anyway.
well, but the lids aren't completely flat. They're kinda like domed up. They come up about this high. They come up and they're flat at the top. But if it's raining out, mine is always on. And if it's not completely filled, it's always on there. And it's so simple that they just, when the guys come to pick it up, you just snap, toss, like throw. That quick. And if that's a problem with, I know on my street there is stuff blown down the street from the other people. And if they had a lid on there, because I look down there and see how many boxes I can see, and not all of them are above and raised. But you can raise your stuff in there about that high, because the lid is that much higher.
Well, it's in front of us now. Should we buy 100 of them? I mean, we have money in the refuse budget. Should we try it? And
I'll make a motion.
then advertise it? Make a motion.
We purchase the minimum, what Derek says, of how many?
100.
And then we'll offer to the people, either give them half price, full price, or whatever.
$10.
$10, make some money.
Well, by the time we get them,
That freight.
by the time
It
we,
just doesn't sit well with a Scotchman.
We'll see what we can do.
Price to be determined.
Yeah,
all right, so make a motion, Les.
I think I just did.
Motion is to go buy 100 of them.
Try it out.
Their support.
Or,
Supported that we purchase 100 of the lid components in the color of Pepsi Blue for our recycling blue bins that we would sell to the public, offer for $10. The cost that we have in it is basically $12, including the shipping. Unit's $6, and then at least $6 and some change to have them shipped. But it's a quantity of 100, but they're being shipped from Florida. So, anyway, that's the motion, and it's been supported. Is there any further discussion?
What color did you say you're getting?
Well, it says in the proposal, they're called Pepsi Blue.
The ones I got was black
On the blue lid we have?
on the ones that I purchased myself were black.
These are Pepsi Blue.
Why don't we get,
Matches the blue and the,
why don't we get, gold ones and they'll be like Michigan's.
I do have one question.
No, I'm opposed to that.
Derek, are these definitely compatible with our blue containers in existence? Are we gonna get something that may not fit?
No, I believe they're compatible. Actually, Les researched it, and it's the one that he has for his unit,
They're
so.
compatible.
They're compatible, okay.
Because actually what they do is they snap over the
So this
handle.
shipping is really just gonna be a commission back to you.
All right, so,
I don't have no objection if I would suggest maybe try to contract the shipping rate down some. They do have a place in Erie, Pennsylvania, maybe we could just have them sent from there.
We'll look into that.
Great.
Yeah, and I don't think mine came from Florida either.
all right, so.
We'll look into
At any
that.
rate, we're going to move forward with this
Move forward.
at the price that's given. If you can do better on it, please
On
do.
the shipping.
Sounds
But
good.
we can spend so much time to save $10. I mean, we're talking about $1,250 as total. And then we'll let people know somehow that they're available. I guess the way to do that is put them on display at the DPS or in the lobby here. You know, I don't
put
know.
them in the next monthly newsletter that we
Yeah, we'll
send
figure
out.
it out.
We'll get it
Valuable
out.
as they are, put them behind the counter.
No doubt.
All right, we're going to have to put a lid on this discussion.
So you have a
Don't waste
second already?
All in,
No waste of
Dave
time.
Nadeau seconded it. All in favor of approving the purchase of some Pepsi Blue recycling bin lid covers for the price of $1,250 from a company called Refrig Pacific Company. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We're moving ahead with this. Thank you, Les. I have no further business. Let's go around the table. Dave?
Nothing really to report other than, I want to personally thank everybody on this commission and Derek and his staff for what they did for the, what did we just do? The sewer millage.
Wastewater plant?
Wastewater plant. And then I just want to mention our next, or not our next, but our November meeting is on November 8th, and that's Election Day.
Oh,
So I would suggest that we move it to 11/9, if that works. I've already checked, that night is open for this boardroom.
okay, well, I'm glad you looked into that. I never
So-
gave it a thought.
Because we can't do it on the 8th.
I think that would be great. Are you okay with that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll let,
Make a motion to,
I'll let Brian know.
Yeah.
And he'll just change it on his schedule.
No motion
is there
necessary.
general agreement then? We all know that we're going to meet on Wednesday, November 9th.
That'd be great.
We'll have an opportunity to discuss the results of our
Road millage.
road millage, yeah. Okay. Everybody got that written down? All right, thanks for bringing that up, Dave. That's
No problem.
very important. Laura?
Nothing to add.
Nothing? Okay. Phil?
Nothing to add.
Linda?
I might add about the Facebook pages that Grozeal has, besides Grozeal Now. The Civics, they have Grozeal Civics Facebook.
I mean, it's a private organization that runs that, but
Oh, is it, is
Yeah.
it the, yeah, I know what it
the
is.
only one that the township actually has is the
For the
Grozeal Township.
Yeah, well,
Facebook
they have
page.
that and the Grozeal Now, but I mean, to put stuff out there for the public meetings and on the Grozeal website.
So are you suggesting that on, like, Groceal Now, we should put a
Oh,
no-
I think
a
so. A lot
notice
of
out
people
for our
do
public
They
hearings?
let, yeah, if they approve
Can-
that.
We gotta be
I'm not on
careful about
Groceal Now. Who
use.
is?
We got to be careful about that because it's not like an official
Right.
Facebook page of the township. But a lot of times, what happens is stuff gets copied there.
Well, sometimes Brian shares it from our page to
Exactly.
that page
Yeah.
to
Right,
announce a
and that-
change like
that's
this.
what I'm suggesting, is Brian do it.
I like that idea.
And he'll do that sometimes
Yeah.
on things, yeah.
But the Groseal website especially, you know, if you can put the whole brochure on there, that'd be great.
And it is, yes, yeah, we've got it on there, so, at least the wastewater treatment plant was on there, I believe the roads is on there already as well, so.
Yes.
I think we were finalizing it as recently as last week, so I think we were waiting until then.
You check all that out?
That-
In the normal course of your week, would you check all that out? Make sure it's,
Yeah, I mean, I make sure that Brian knows to put it on there, and I trust that it gets done, and he's always really, really good about that, so, he does a good job making sure that stuff gets up, so.
well, that's a good suggestion, Linda. Thank you. All right. We've moved around the table to Les.
I really don't have anything. I just was wondering about some of these bridges. But,
What bridges?
well, what the county's planning on doing, screwing us over again like they did over in Brownstown and there at Parkway. But I haven't heard many people complain to me about it, so I have nothing else.
You weren't asking a specific question about something. You're talking about the main bridge, the free bridge?
Yeah, any of these, we got all the bridges that the county is playing games with, and we don't know what's going on.
I think that I've heard a little bit of discussion on that, and I think in a month or two, we'll be able to talk about bridges. Hopefully. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, I think we're just waiting on some confirmation on some things from the county regarding the Parkway Bridge, but also other bridges in the township. So, because Parkway Bridge is one of the bridges that needs work, but there's other bridges on the island here that obviously need work and replacement. You know, we can confirm Meridian Road's going to be done. They're doing utilities for that to be replaced right now. That's going to be replaced this upcoming winter, this fall, winter, and into the spring. The county has a plan for other bridges on the island as well. It's just, that they would like to get everything finalized before they give it all out because they don't want to provide information that's not accurate. So I think they got some engineering they have to do and some research they have to do from a budgetary standpoint before they can actually let that information out. But, as soon as we have that from them, we'll pass it on to the residents so that they can plan accordingly, so.
Oh, there's one more thing that popped into my mind here. With them passing the money for that clarifier. This big money bill that Whitmere passed, would there be any chance we get any money out of that for that?
We continue to pursue those different funding options, and if that ends up coming through for us, that would give us the ability to offset some of that millage. So, we won't stop pursuing that, even though the millage has passed, to help offset those expenditures. So, if one of those works out for us and we're awarded some funding, to help with those
Okay.
projects, then
Every time you
that's
look in
great.
the paper, the local paper around here, you see that somebody's getting a grant for this and a grant for that and some money here and somebody there.
Yep, and the township has received some money. Unfortunately, we can't use it to offset bond costs from the COVID relief dollars. But we've petitioned the county for, money that they've received. We've petitioned the state. We've petitioned the federal government. So we haven't been sitting on our hands regarding the availability of those funds and trying to work to secure them. So it's just, there's a lot of competition for these dollars, and it might seem like a lot of money, but when you divide it among all the municipalities, the counties, state agencies, it starts getting, pretty slim. And unfortunately, a lot of times those dollars are prioritized to disadvantaged communities that might have real severe financial issues, where they fall into different categories that permit, them to have first access to those dollars. But, we continue to pursue those to try to do what we can to get what we can get, so.
I think you mentioned that at our discussion.
Yeah.
The gentleman asked the question about it, right?
Correct, yes.
That's all.
Derek, anything else?
Nothing else.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion and we adjourn.
Their support. Moved and supported, we adjourn at 8:08, I guess, something like that. All in favor indicate by saying yes. Yes.
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned, thank you.